Hey, what's up, y'all? And welcome to Life According to Cree, the podcast. As always, I am your host, Cree Cole. And baby, yeah, tonight. Tonight I'm live. Yes, I am live. I gotta I had to make a decision, you know, levels all of this. So tonight I'm live. Since I'm live, there is no song of the week. There is no song of the week. Um, I've already done all my prep and everything, all my common soothing things, all my candles lit, all that good stuff, mood lighting, got all that done. So before we get into tonight's topic, first and foremost, let me catch y'all up on life according to Gree. Um, as you all know, I am um I am venturing off into different avenues as far as um, beginning my journey into life coaching, um, which has led to me actually publishing um, four interactive books. One is a journal. Let me make sure I get that. Cause see, I gotta make sure I show y'all. Cause I always got some on hand. I made noise. But one of my projects is a journal. It's a 6 month daily planning journal. It's not formatted by month, date, or the year. So it's actually multifunctioning and you can use it pretty much buy it at any time, start it at any time. You can use it for something in your professional life. You can use it for um, things regarding your personal life. It is strictly up to you. Say it is listed with the places for you to put your daily goals, your weekly goals, etc., etc. Mantra of the day. It's mostly functioning. Also, there is the scratchbook. Um, and the scratchbook is actually a creation of my own. If you go out there and you Google what is a scratchbook, you're probably not going to find it because guess what? This is the first one. And this is actually a self reflection journal. If you are one of those people who wants to start over fresh, whether that is your career, with something romantic, with something, relationships within your family, relationships, um, with interacting with others, you want to go on a personal journey, this is the book for you because it actually starts you from a beginning place. There is, you probably can't see it, but there is a place for you to put your top tens, what you like, what you dislike, what your goals going forward. Um, and then it goes on to give you exercises and things for you to do in order to meet those goals. Um, Say it is also not date stamped or anything, so you can do what you need to do with that. They told me that I got to do this, so then there is Living the Life, which is a forgiveness guide. It gives the principles of forgiveness, the steps towards forgiveness, and how you can apply those to your everyday life. And then there is my actual first publication, which originally was Stay Single, Leave Them Alone Until They're Ready. Once I began putting together the series, then we actually went back. I'm saying we because I'm talking about the legion that is in me. Went back and decided to make the book match the actual vision for the series. So the name of the book is the love of your life. It is a book filled with that includes 5 actual stories um, regarding relationships. that I have previously been in, the five concepts of self-awareness, and then 50 questions to ask yourself before dating. So make sure you check that out. All of these titles are available on Amazon. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I am completely self-sufficient. Life According to Cree LLC is all me. And one of the things that I am majorly proud of is that I finally have my website fully functioning with not only things related to Life According to Cree, which is booking life coaching, booking life coaching sessions, booking group seminars, um, booking me myself for speaking engagements. The life shop is there. Check this out. Make sure you go out there and look. I'm sure there's a tea for you. Um, there is also it's actually an online. It's not just an online store. It is an online department store. As in, there are different departments. So make sure you check that out. Um, there is an actual live chat feature on the website now. So if you have like an immediate question, something that you don't want to go to social media with, um, and would like to talk to someone one on one, someone as a me one on one, immediately, that is available. And one of the best features of the website, and what I am the most proud of, is my link to um find a therapist. It's actually listed as find a therapist. Um, you go on that link, it gives the information as far as what life coaching is versus what therapy is and how they interact together. There are links to different functions and websites where you can search for therapists within your area. If you find that with the description at the top, you find that what you're looking for is more of a therapy type deal than life coaching. And what I will say to you is, whether you decide to go the route of a life coach or a therapist, I always recommend that you search for someone within your age group or older, and you look for somebody that looks like you. Because no matter where we're at now, everybody comes from somewhere. And there are some things, some things that are clinical, and there's some things that are just faith based, some things that are lifestyle based. So you want to make sure that you get someone that fits you. And I'm very proud of that link because I don't receive anything from it. I don't get any commission for the referrals. I don't receive anything. But just having that as a feature on my website, something that people can use, um, and it's being made available to my followers, because an overwhelming amount of my followers are African American. They are women. I just feel like it's something um that bears attention. So make sure that you go out and check out my website, www.lifeaccordingtocree.org. Like I said, it is a one-stop shop for all things Cree. Um, and as far as this live broadcast is concerned, I am currently live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So if I am responding to portions of a conversation in which you're saying, who is she talking to? I don't see that. I don't see nobody on her live. It may not be on your live. So please make sure that you keep that in mind. So let's get to the topic for this evening. This week's topic. And bear with me because, like I said, I'm live. Nonetheless, for this week's topic, um, where the title of the topic is I'm Back, and is reemerging or coming back after the hurt. And one thing that I noticed historically, not just in this day and time in 2023, because a lot of things, I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of things that we try to take credit for, or say that it's because it's 2023, or it's because it's or blame it on a generation. It's the millennials, it's the generation X, it's this, it's the Gen Z, it's whatever. In reality, these things historically have happened. And I mean, we've had movies and books about it. How Stella got a groove back. Anything's Tyler Perry. Anything Tyler Perry is going to have a theme of I was under, now I'm over. And it's gonna be centered around women. So many different elements of entertainment that depict or take things from real life situations. So a lot of the situations that we go through now, a lot of the things that we deal with now as women are not new. They're not happening because there is the internet. They are not happening because it is 2023. They are not happening because of access and things of that nature. How we do things may have changed, but the things that we do remain the same. And like I said, everybody loves a good story centered around a woman, where a woman is her own heroine. And I am one of those people. Like my whole platform is based upon loving yourself first and doing what's necessary and love yourself correctly so that you can love the people around you correctly. And one thing that I have seen over the years, through my adolescence, you being a young woman, and now at the age of 42, is that we quick to holler, I'm back. We're quick. We're quick to have that turnaround. Where we say, look, yeah, y'all know what I've been through, but I don't look like what I've been through. I mean, and when I say these things, trust and believe, the very first example I am going to use is me. So if you feel like I'm talking about you, maybe I am, but I only know my own experiences. So we're very, very quick to want to have the return. We're encouraged to have the return. Um, Over the weekend, I had the pleasure of speaking at the Southern Belle Tea Party, which was hosted in Timminsville, South Carolina, at the Cartersville Country Winery and hosted by Miss Brandy E. And I don't prepare to speak in front of people depending on the crowd and depending on the vibe of the event. And I did not prepare to speak. I did not have a prepared speech at all. I was gonna read the room. I was gonna read the room. I knew what where I wanted to come from as far as I was concerned, and I know where I wanted it to end and the information that I wanted them to receive. But as far as a theme, I didn't have one. The theme was mental health and wellness, and that was what we were gonna go with. And one of the things that I said during that was that we have to take time out to really, truly make sure that we are okay and that we can operate at 75%. Um, and I made an example to make it live for some folks that seemed like they were confused because they're saying 75% is more than enough. If you realize that your battery life ain't at 100%, you're going to charge your cell phone. So why can't we put that same amount of energy into ourselves? And I also feel that way after we go through things. After we go through things that hurt, after we go through things that turn our worlds upside down and change our trajectory, we tend to rush the reemergence or the reappearance. Like, don't get me wrong, there is absolutely nothing with making sure that you're okay, keeping an upward appearance when you're out in public, being out in public. going to do things, going to see things, still seeing your friends, still seeing your family. Those are all healthy things. Those are all healthy things that you should do. Those are all healthy things that you should do when you're going through something. Your support system, the support systems that you have, you know, are key. And for those that don't have support systems, third party support is just as important. Where I think we miss the mark sometimes and cause ourselves additional time as far as our healing process is concerned is when we're in such a rush to prove to people that we're okay. I remember when my ex and I broke up, and I also told a story this weekend. Well, I ain't tell the story, but I gave them a little bit more insight into that. Um, how I gave my ultimatum on Thursday nights. Before we went to sleep, he went and dropped me off at work the next morning. He came back to my job, took me to lunch, and then when he picked me up at 5 p.m. to go home, because we used to, on Fridays we used to go come back to our hometown because we were actually living in Charlotte at the time, and we would do this every weekend. And when I looked in the back seat, yeah, there was my bag because he would always, over the weekend, that Friday he would pack my bag too, or I would pack my bag the night before. That way, when he came to pick me up, we'd be right on the road. And on this in particular day, I looked in the back seat and I noticed that, and the back of the pickup truck, because we actually were driving the pickup truck at the time, and I noticed that all of his belongings were in the truck, and I rode home 2 hours. Yes, babes, 2 hours. I rode home 2 hours with him, and I dropped him off where he was going, and I came home, and I let my people know what was going on, and I was hurt, and I was broke all up, and um, it may have been I made it all the way through. It was right before Valentine's Day, so I actually made it all the way through Valentine's Day. That entire weekend, the following week, I was in Charlotte, coming home on Fridays. Mid March, I said, you know what? I'm still sick as a dog. I'm still sick as a dog. And while this was going on, there were health issues in my family, all that stuff. It just seemed like it was a lot. Because of course, when one thing goes wrong, then it seems like everything else goes wrong at the same time. Like you can never just get one thing going on. It always has to be multiples. But I decided, I said, you know what? If I'm gonna have stress and be worried about this or worried about that, what I'm not finna be worried about is this man. That's what I'm not gonna do. Ain't nobody finna be asking me about this man no more. I'm about to pop out. I'm about to pop out. So mid-March, now mind you, I ended a 6-year relationship February, and by mid-March, it was mid-February, by mid-March, I am popping back out. And when I say I popped back out, I popped back out. I popped back out. I was coming home. I was coming home on the weekend. By the end of the year, I decided to just move on back home. And when I moved back home, baby, it was on and popping. I literally, like, I was in savage mode. And seeing a lot of people, they'll think that like you go through some type of quote unquote whole phase when you say things like you in savage mode, or like currently it's I'm outside. But the reality of it is it's not even anything that's Audrey. It doesn't have to, it's levels to everything. And what I meant by I was living savage life, I really didn't care what anybody thought about anything. I didn't put too much effort and energy into what I felt about anything. It was almost, and due to that, even after our breakup, he managed to remain in my life for a whole nother year. before I was like, you know what, that's it. He's done. Because since I had a lack of care for myself, I didn't care about anything that occurred with him either. And I actually, from that point, a whole year later is where I actually began healing. Before I got to that point, over the course of those 2 years, I lost between 80 and 90 pounds. I, like I said, I moved back home. I had already began losing weight because I was there after the breakup. I was there probably another 10 months. And then that following January, I moved home. So I'd already lost weight. That was about 8 months of me losing weight. And then from the time that I moved home, and I had still not let go of that situation because I had not taken any time to heal. Now, let's get this, make this, let's be clear. I made absolutely no effort to evaluate myself, learn anything, nothing. When I tell you it was real, give up by it, I mean it was really that. So I didn't take any time. And so from then up until that actually ended and I removed that person from my life, I had lost a total of between 80 and 90 pounds. Um, I'm in a whole new body. By this point, I'm in a whole new body. I'm confused. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know how to navigate through anything. I mean, when I tell you I was lost, I was lost. And I lost so much time because now it's 2018 and because that was in 2016. Yeah, 2017. I completely left him alone in 2018, went on my whole tear, and now that is a year and a half that I did not spend on myself. I did things for myself. I I was outside. I was outside. People saw me. I was at the spots. I was in the clothes, kind of, because I tell you I lost a whole bunch of weight, so I could barely dress myself. Um, I could barely dress myself. That's a whole nother podcast altogether. That's a whole nother episode altogether. But once I completely let him go and I stopped running, I stopped pushing so hard to show others how okay I was. And I had to actually sit with myself and go, girl, what's really wrong? When I realized that I was not okay, is when the real work began. That's when it started. That's when it started for me. Um, because a lot of times we're so, I mean, let me tell you something. One thing that would definitely, if you've never been hyped up, if you've never been, if you've never been hyped up, if you've never been verbally encouraged, if you've never had people show up and show out for you, get hurt. Get hurt. When I tell you the ladies show up, I'm always baffled when I hear women say that they went through one of their darkest times and nobody was there. It makes me question the type of lifestyle that they led prior to the breakup, prior to the relationship. Because when I tell you I had a community of women, a community of women, women I talked to, didn't talk to, women old, women young, the girls, all that made sure to make a point to rally around me and to encourage me on site. On site. People I had never spoke to before. People that I only spoke to because of him. showed up and showed out for me. Showed up and showed out as far as keeping me encouraged, compliments, etc., etc. And even though I really didn't know what to do with them at the time, once I started reflecting on what I had been through, when I accepted what happened, when I let go of my my obsession with trying to figure out why and accepting the fact that there was no why, I really appreciated the times when those women encouraged me, because even though I put up a very brave front as if I had it all together and I knew where I was going and I knew what I was doing, I did have all of those things in line professionally, me as a mother, me as a daughter. I knew what I wanted to do, what I wanted to do for my family, what I wanted to do for myself, career wise and financially. I had all of that together. So of course I didn't look like a struggle. The domino effect had already hit me. The domino effect was going on, and it affected everything else in my life when I had all the applause. See, because what that applause does, and what that say, the applause, the parades, the I don't need no man, I don't want no man, I did it, niggas, blah 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 blah. What that does is it drowns out and masks and covers up what's really going on. A lot of times, don't get me wrong, a good glow up, a good boss up, listen, it gives exactly what it's supposed to give. It gives you more opportunity. Say a good boss up gives you more opportunities as far as your career is concerned, more opportunities, to gain other finances, more connections, more networking, etc., etc. A good boss up gives you that. It gives you that. A good boss up can set you on a whole nother path, education, career wise, without a doubt. A good glow up. A good glow up. Like I went from wearing $20 pack hair from the beauty supply store to wearing $400 bundles. I was about, at the beginning, I was about 175, 180 pounds, 5'7", slim thickness at 42. With middle part sew-in bust downs, 24 inches. Long before they started bragging about having hair down to the, and then my upper torso was a little short, so I could get like 24. And it was, yeah, all that. I did all that. And I mean, I looked good, and that did afford me, that glow up did afford me and open me up to an entirely different set and caliber of man. Now, don't get me wrong. As they say on the Took My Talk, the Pookies and the Ray Rays gonna be the Pookies and the Ray Rays. I ain't never had no issue getting attention from Pookies and Ray Rays. A lot of people that don't know they Pookies and Ray Rays, they was Pookies and Ray Rays. I ain't never had no problem. Nobody has any problem getting attention from those people. Um, nobody, nobody. Like they might get on the internet and talk that trash, but in reality, they really, really, really are for everybody. But a good glow up can give you access to a whole different caliber of mate. It really can. So the boss up and the glow up, listen, Undefeated. They are undefeated. But the thing is, an awesome boss up and an epic glow up, when you're hurting on the inside, can provide you balance, but it doesn't heal you. It doesn't heal your heart. Each one of those, say, that boss up expands your mind, that glow up expands your self-esteem. But all of that is surface level. All of those are tangible things that can physically be accounted for. It doesn't have anything, it does not affect or have anything to do with your internal spiritual and mental health. It can balance it, it can't cure it. It doesn't admonish it. Until you actually set aside the time to identify your hurt, correctly identify your hurt, because we'll be saying we'll be telling people that you were hurt because he cheated. Were you hurt because he cheated, or were you hurt because he did tell you the truth? Those are two different things. Those are two different things. Just to give an example, like what I've so correctly identifying the hurt is number one. Correctly identifying the hurt. And yes, these are things that can be done while you're bossing up, while you're working on your glow up. It can be done. But think about it. I want you to think about it. Because there's only 24 hours in a day. There's only 24 hours in a day. So while you're bossing up, that's a smooth 8. When you're doing what you need to do in order to get your glow up together, we're going to say that's 1 to 2 hours. That's 1 to 2 hours. Whether that's actually physically working out, whether it's getting into makeup, skincare, hair, clothes, 2 hours a day. So that's already 10 hours gone. So in 24 hours in a day, you only got 14 hours left. The National Center for Sleep recommends that people get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. So if you happen to be one of those people who are privileged, and I say privileged because I'm someone who suffers with insomnia, if you are one of the people that are privileged to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night, we're gonna go on the lower end of 7. That was already, we were at 14. That leaves, so that will be, yeah, we were at 14. 8, 2, no, we're at 10. 10, then 17, 7 hours of sleep. That's 17 hours. That's 17 out of 24. That leaves 6 other hours. Now, all of y'all know, as well as I do, if you're an entrepreneur also, if you're a mother also, if you're a spouse also, if you happen to enter into another relationship quickly, which I would never recommend, but if you happen to rebound into another relationship, those other 6 hours are gone. So when do you make the time to reflect and work and actually work on the hurt? What a lot of times what we end up doing, and what I ended up doing, and I had to learn a new way to cope and to handle situations. What I used to do is I used to deprive myself of sleep. I would be going all day. My workday started at 7, say, but I'm lying, at 6:30 a.m., at 6 o'clock a.m. I would work till 2:30, go to my second job. My second job, I was physically a basketball coach. So if you hear me throwing around some basketball analogies, that's why. Because I'm a former athlete. But I would go from there. And then go from out 9 to 5, then go there. I would be there anywhere. Say I would get there about 3 o'clock. A lot of times I wouldn't leave there till 7, 8 o'clock at night. And then I was starting my business. At that time, I had an online blog. So I would come home, work on that. And then I'd eat, take a shower, lay in the bed. And then it would be quiet. So, and when it would get quiet, is when I would have to deal with what was going on internally. And though I was receiving all these different praises for being an entrepreneur, for being, for giving feeding back into my community through basketball, even though I was working a 9 to 5 and stacking bags. Like at one time I had 2 full-time jobs. I was working simultaneously from home. So, I feel that space with so much to the only time there was any time for my brain to stop focusing on those things and to focus on me was when I got ready to go to bed. And it might have been a 30-minute, it might have been a 30-minute rumble with my mind to ease my mind and my heart. It may have been a 3-hour rumble, which definitely cut into that sleep. So why not do the work first? And that's my question. Why not do the work first? I know, I know that nobody wants, especially when it comes to a romantic hurt, nobody wants for the other person to see them sweat. Nobody could see, or at least that's what we present. Because let's keep it a whole book. Initially, after a major breakup, F him is not the real vibe. F him or F her is not the real vibe. While you screaming at it from the rooftops, honestly, truly, what you're doing, you low key on the phone, you're still answering the text, you're still having little miniature conversations, you're still randomly calling, you're answering, you're calling to ask about nothing, to talk about nothing. I remember when I was going through my breakup, not breakup, and I would call him to talk about nothing. And then once I started going through my healing journey, I realized that we never had a conversation about anything. Our conversations were no different following the breakup as they were during the actual relationship. But that was because I took the time. You have to take the time, ladies. You have to take the time to find out who you are without this person. Because chances are you're not the person that you were before the relationship. And not because this person changed you. I get so. It's sometimes exhausting listening to people blame people for things that are just natural emotional evolution. You are not going, if you're in a 10-year relationship that starts when you are 25, you are not going to be the exact same person at 35 as you were at 25. People who remain single are not the same people that they were. So while the event itself may have hurt, while the event itself may have tested your limits, changed how you view people in the process that you go through in order to let people into your life and all of that, that's not what changed you. The him being or her being crap is not solely what changed you. You're not going to be the same. And the first self say accepting the fact that you were never going to be the same and avoiding those people who try to take you back to being that other person. That's why your healing journey is for you. Because once you go through a traumatic or what you feel like is a traumatic romantic experience ending, you have to find out who you are now. Trying to go back to that person that you were, wholly to that person that you were prior to the relationship, is damaging for more than one reason, but I'll only give you two. One, the root of you should have never changed. Why did the core of who you were change? Why did why did your boundaries change? Why did your beliefs change? Why? So much until you're lost and you're trying to find that person that you once were. Yeah, kill that noise. I didn't want to be the person that I was before. I didn't want to be that girl. Because that girl that entered into that relationship, that girl that I was before the relationship, walked head first into that relationship. She walked head first into it and stayed in it. I don't want to be her no more. You really want to be her again? There were a whole bunch of things she didn't know. There were a whole bunch of things that she did not consider as far as herself. There were boundaries that she did not have up. There were limits that she did not set that got you to the place that you're at. Because no matter what a person does to you, at the end of the day, you have to accept some sort of responsibility. And though there are people that lie, deceive, manipulate, gaslight, etc., um, at the end of the day, we are the sole people that determine how much we choose to bear, how much we choose to go through when the situation is negative. When the situation is negative, when the situation is toxic, as y'all like to use, even though I hate the word toxic, I don't use it myself. But when the situation is toxic, when the situation is neglectful, when the situation is physically harmful, we make the decision. I remember like back in the day, and people might still say it now, I don't know, but I remember back in the day they say, she'll get tired. That's what the old people used to say. She get tired. Why do we have to be tired? It was wrong when we had all the energy. Why do we allow romantic relationships to whoop us until or drag us until we tired? See, the girl I was before the breakup, I don't want to be her. I don't want to be her. Because she had to be drugged until she was tired. Think about it. Um, but we have to find out who we are right now in the present and not allow other people to tell us who we are in the present. The nostalgia is great. The nostalgia is wonderful. Them your girls coming to pick you up and saying, "Girl, let's go do it." You remember back when we used to do this, girl? Let's go, girl. Because when you got with him, we stopped doing this. So let's go do this. Find out, go do it, but find out if that's really for you now. Because see, what I was for and down for prior to getting in that relationship didn't interest me anymore, and it didn't interest. And I had to do the work to realize it's not so much that I'm just so hurt. I don't want to do it no more. It's that I actually matured out of it. I matured out of it. A lot of times our lifestyles will change and they will slow down. If we're really doing the work, our lives will slow down. They'll slow down significantly Because and the main reason why that happens is because you're actually setting boundaries, setting limitations, holding people to the standards that you have set for people that you want in your life. And let me tell you something, when you start actually holding people accountable and measuring people based upon the standards that you have set and not accepting or compromising your boundaries, it becomes a whole lot harder to be out here in these streets. It makes it harder. It makes it harder depending on what your goal is. If your goal is to meet somebody new immediately, that's not gonna happen. If you really change, if you really have different boundaries and things, let me tell you something. There are people that put a lot of emphasis and pride into the fact that they are pursued by the opposite sex. How many people pursue them, the things that they say to them, how many people try to holler at them. They be real, real proud of that. Ain't nothing to that. A man will holler at you and have absolutely no intentions for you. A man will holler at you. There are men and women who literally pursue people of the opposite sex simply, or same sex, simply for sport. So you can't measure your worth from that. But you have to go back to the original point, you have to say, who am I now? Who am I now? And then once you figure out who you are now, then you move on to what you want now. Because you may vary if your type, if that man or that woman hit 8 points of your top 10. Because see, a top 10 is pretty much going to remain the same. I don't care if you've been broke up with her, thrown to the dogs. Your top 10 is going to be your top 10. If that other person met 8 out of 10 of your basic criteria for dating, more than likely you still want somebody who meets at least 8. You just don't want them to have you don't want them to have the negatives, but you definitely want them to still have those positives. What it requires you to do is to make that negative list and to make a realistic one. Because see, that list that we have at first, like we put all the positive things we want to make, and then we put that list of things we don't want to make, and it be real generic. That list of what we want be detailed as it can be, but that one of the things we don't want be generic. Not a liar, not a cheater. No, when you come out of a bad relationship, or a relationship that you really wanted ends, wasn't a bad relationship, it just didn't work out or level up the way that you wanted it to. Um, when you get out of those relationships, you have to make a realistic list of what you don't want. And then it should be easier because you have a living example of those things that triggers you. And that takes time. You can't do that in between girls' weekends every weekend. You can't do that you can't do that while you sit on the phone with your friends, your sister cousins, your whoever for 14 to 16 hours of the day while you awake, while you work, while you this, while you that. You can't do that while you're doing all that stuff and tending to your kids. You can't do all of that. Something's gonna lack attention. And that's why therapists, coaches, all alike want you to set up a plan and to dedicate specific time to you your healing, no matter what the situation is, not just from romantic situations, but from all traumatic or just situations that impact or you feel impacted you in a negative way. So you got to identify the problem. You got to identify the issue, what the issue was. You have to identify who you are. You have to identify who you are. I love the new. Y'all see the stuff from the new updates? Yeah. Um, it's on the iPhone and the iPad. You have to identify what the issue was. Identify who you are now. Who you are after the pain. Yeah, yeah. I can say better than that, but that's what y'all get right now. And then figure out the basics of what you want going forward. And do all of this before you accept a genuine date. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with dating. There's nothing wrong with seeing people while you're going through your healing journey. I don't recommend it, but there's nothing wrong with it because everybody needs company. Nobody just wants to be lonely. I can say that one of the hardest things and why people jump back out there so fast and start entertaining so much is not so much, I just miss a belly beside me. I just need somebody to talk to. No, you miss the attention. You miss the attention. And I promise you, there are so many other ways that you can get positive attention. And you'll still miss that in particular attention because it hits on a different level. But decide what it is that you want to do going forward. And then once you do all of those things and you have a routine, you say you feel safe, you feel secure within yourself, you're willing to protect yourself at all costs. That's when you say, okay, I can do it again. I can go back out here on this limb again. But rushing that level of healing, because here's the thing. In Christ, you could be healed, but physically, you could still be healing. That's why it's called a healing process. It's a process. Some days will be good, some days will be bad. Some months will be good, some months will be bad. Because you're always going to encounter situations that may trigger something else. You can have a bad relationship with someone of the opposite sex, and then someone that you're related to do something similar to that person and be triggered all over again. It has nothing to do with romantic connection. That's why the healing journey is so important. That's why taking time for yourself to understand yourself and understand what you're feeling, and even going outside and receiving third party assistance to know is so important. A lot of times we know how we got somewhere, but we don't know why we were there. And unfortunately, unless someone in your church knows the depths of your story, they can't tell you the why. They can tell you why and how different elements of Christianity apply to your situation, but they can't, unless they just know you, they can't pick apart how you ended up there. They can't give you the why. And then let's be honest, how many of us are really going to accept that why? A therapist. Therapists specialize in the why of a thing. They specialize in it. Therapists give you the why, then give you life coaching on how to move forward. Life coaches meet you at the how. You come to them once you know the why. I literally call spirituality therapy, and coaching, the trinity of complete mental health, good mental health. They all work together. Whether or not you, no matter what your religion is, no matter if you got a religion at all, no matter who you pray to, who you worship, what you worship, those three things can get you where you need to be. If you choose to forego therapy, hey, that's your choice. But when you find yourself asking why, how did I get to this point? Not how I'm going to go forward, how I got to this point. Why am I here? God can give you the strength to get through it, but I promise you, baby, a therapist can give you the day one, day two, day three of how you got there. So don't rush. Don't rush. Don't rush. Every nobody, nobody, nobody likes hurting. Nobody likes going through things. I don't care what they bounce back look like. I don't care what they snap back, snap back, whatever looks like. Nobody likes going through hurt. Nobody likes continuously having to go through to be run through the ringer and then be remade again, ran through the ringer, remade again, ran through the ringer, remade again. Even in the Bible, once you saved, you saved. You don't have to be remade again. Once you get remade the first time, you just got to go back and get it back right, but you don't have to be completely remade. Come on. Come on, somebody. So take the time. Final thought. Take the time to work on you after a relationship. I know that the attention that you garner, the 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 access that you're granted from having your glow up, the career and financial rewards that come from the bossing up, like they are great. They are great, but they're only going to provide you balance. They're only going to give a balance. They're going to be the light to your to your darkness and your hurt. Why not work on putting a light and bringing forth life and light into your hurt, into your dark place? Ain't nothing wrong. Tell them folks, tell the audience, tell the spectators, the audience, tell them, hold up, back up. I still got some things to do. We could clap for me getting through step one, but let's hold off. Because let me tell you something. Before I go, I'm gonna leave you with this. When you're broken, the seal will always leak. When you're broken, the seal will always leak. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it. The seal will always leak. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. I love y'all. I just started this live thing, so all them comments popping up on the Tickum. Listen, I would respond, but I they typing in doing this. This is a lot. That's a lot. So I'll get there. It's another episode of Life According to Creed, the podcast. Make sure you tune in every Thursday night from 7:30. What is supposed to be 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think we're still gonna be going live. Oh, this wasn't that bad. Thank y'all. Say you got it, girl. Thank y'all. Make sure that you check out www.lifeaccordingtocreed.org. Make sure that you follow me on all social media platforms. And make sure that, so for those of you who follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, make sure that you go to my page and check out the self-care pledge challenge. It is a raffle that will be I'll be raffling off $150 value of in gift card form on Black Friday to get us all the way off into the season of giving. So make sure that you check that out. There is a little couple things you got to do. There's a couple things you got to do in order to be entered into it. But I will be sharing it throughout the duration of this month. So please make sure please make sure that you check that out. Also, let me see. So you go to I told you to go out there and go visit the website. I told you to enter into the raffle. I think that's it. I think that's it. So, like I said, thank you all for tuning in. I love y'all. Onward and upward. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye.